back, guys. I'm glad to see you all again, and I'm here to talk about something that has been scaring me for a little bit over a week. And no, this is not going to be about coronavirus. Don't get me started because it's annoying now, right? Exactly. But something has been going around with witches, and I felt the effect of it on myself, and I couldn't understand what the heck is happening. But apparently, I was not the only one feeling that way, and actually, a lot of people feel that. So, I would like to talk a little bit more about it because I think I know the reason for it, but I can't be 100% sure because nobody knows yet. I felt that when I tried to do my cards and my cards would not cooperate, the meanings would not make any sense, or the meanings or questions would come out inaccurate. Yes, I ran some tests to see what the heck is happening. So I kind of placed it aside and just, said, alright, maybe it's just the moon, because I'm a moon witch, so I rely a lot on what's happening out there. So I was just waiting for a better day, but even a week passed by and my cards would still kind of be weird about certain things. And even if I was able to do some of the readings, they were still being very, very minimal about what they want to tell you. So that was very sucky. But I decided, alright, maybe I just have to have a little break. And that's what I did. By taking a break, I just set my cards away after cleansing them on fire, because that's the way I cleanse. And, I cleanse the candles as well. So, just putting a mini pause on my works. But it doesn't mean that I will have to stop myself from evolving. I still kept my journal going, and I still kept my meditations going. But problems with meditations, I don't know if you guys have experienced it, because I have not anyone else heard complain about that. It was mainly how the items do not want to cooperate with the witch. But on my meditations, when I would meditate, it's usually when you're about to enter that state when you're out of your body finally, and you get to meet your goal, whatever the meditation you're doing is for. And just stuck on one image. It's like a face that I do not recognize, but I believe it was one of the gods. He was just like this close to me, and he wouldn't move. And for my meditations, I would just ended up being asleep. I feel like it was just a blockade that you can't go out. It's safer for you to stay in. So I never really did complete any of my meditations that I have done. I just end up falling asleep, and the next day I just wake up and be like, whoa, wasn't I supposed to meditate last night? Why didn't I? Because that happens, but it happens rarely unless I'm super tired. And I was very kind of confused why that is happening. And my friend then the next day sent me a little screenshot. If I'm capable of doing that, I will post the picture here this week or something, and we don't know what's going on. I posted this on my social media warning other people that, look, if something's not working, please set it aside, give yourself a break, don't mess with anything, because we don't know what's going on. So meanwhile, I just focused on my journal, my general studies involving and so on, the things that I want to look up for a long time. That's what I've been doing, and that's what I suggest you guys do, because today is actually a very good day to learn about what you like. It's a side topic anyways. But I also been thinking about what's going on, and if you guys did not get a chance to finish reading all of it, because it probably looks pretty blurry on the screen, but anyways, learn about what you like. It's a side topic anyways. But I also been thinking about what's going on, and if you guys did not get a chance to finish reading all of it, because it probably looks pretty blurry on the screen, but anyways, some of them were concerned about the fact that they feel so like weird inside that something bad's about to happen, that we are so afraid that the spiritual world gate, door, whatever you might call it, the wall, will break. Means that all of the spirits inside of that will kind of come in loose and interfere with us and humans, which is bad. Ask, why is it bad and what the hell that is? Well, think about it this way. There's our world, the humans only, the living world, whatever. Yes, that's good. But there's two more, at least from what I believe. So, pagans don't believe in such a thing as heaven or hell, but for sake of it, I'll explain it in that direction. So, there's us, just the living humans, those who live, those who have a normal, regular life. Then, there's the world of those who stay among us. Now, those are the people who committed suicide, and they are not allowed to leave because, well, it's kind of a penalty for ending your life too early and not finishing the purpose you had on this planet. Don't commit suicide. Talk to someone about it. But we have that, and there are those who have been killed unexpectedly, or they're just shocked when they were killed or something bad happened to them, that they didn't have the time to realize that, oh well, this is the end of me, and so they still believe that they're alive, although they are not, and nobody is capable of seeing them unless you have such powers. So they kind of stay floating around here because their soul just can't recognize the fact that they're dead and they should move on. So that's two. Now there's a third one, which you would believe as or heaven or hell. In my case, that would be reincarnation. You would be reincarnated into a baby or some kind of animal or a plant, something that has a living soul into it. Now, yes, my religion believes that everything is possible, everything can have its own spirit. Yeah, based on how good you were, you either go to heaven or hell as a punishment for, pretty much anything, like being a witch, which you're not supposed to do. So that happens, and what is possibly to be the danger thing that people sense is that any of those gates are possibly be opened. Now, heaven people, they don't intend on hurting anyone, so they might just kind of stay there and, try to, I guess, warn you or help you out in certain things, like angel guardians and something, versus people from hell, they kind of want their revenge on others, they kind of want to be noticed, they kind of want to be, just around you to feed on your energy. That is a thing. If such a thing was to happen and all of the bad spirits were released upon our world, people would just massively commit suicide. People would be getting into a lot of catastrophes, such as car crashes, plane crashes, trains would explode, we'd just go into wars. There would be another massive kind of disease, more, I think, something like a plague, but even bigger, I suppose. So that would be terrible, and yes, our world looks like it now, but we really hope that it's not the reason why. Ooh. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think that's the reason. What I believe is happening to all of the witches, and maybe even just if you're sensitive to the weather, let's say your bones and your joints hurt and it's gonna be a bad weather, you could probably experience something like this too. Your things just don't stay right in your hand, you keep dropping stuff, you just can't concentrate on things. That might be a case too. But what I believe, it's because there's such an outbreak of witches all of a sudden. And not just any kind of witches, but pagans and Wiccans who basically worship the same kind of gods slightly differently, but pretty much same kind of thing. And yes, because mostly people kind of forgot or don't believe that it's possible to be a witch and be Christian or Orthodox or any of the classic religions that just involve one God and Jesus. That is indeed possible, and you could do it without just being I don't want to should I ditch my religion because it doesn't support me? It's gonna be hard, obviously, but you could still do it. And by that, I really do mean that you can only do it for the good. No black magic for you, sweetheart. But with all of that being said, my point is, since everyone's now trying to worship all of the deities and trying to ask for their help and stuff, it is very, very, like, a big awakening of those powers that were just asleep for so many years, for centuries, because people just thought they were evil. Nobody would worship them. And I heard a lot of stories where there would be cults who would, for instance, worship one deity, but then all of a sudden Christians came along, burnt all of the statues, saying that this is wrong, this is evil, now you're converting to be Christian. But what would you do with the power itself? Well, you would put it to sleep for the best. So really, people would just like sing the lullaby to pretty much calm down the spirit. Now, it's not really a lullaby, it was just more of like saying like, well, thank you, but gotta go, sort of thing. And some of the spirits were not put correctly, I'd say, down, or just be forgotten like that. So all of them would just kind of stick around, but since nobody would give them the offerings and to kind of cherish and nourish them, they pretty much die out. So you imagine that you're sleeping, all of a sudden there's one person who worships you, then there's 10, then there's 1,000,000, then there's 1,000,000,000, then it's all over the place, and there's your great awakening. And there's just so much power out there in the world that it could be the fact that they just can't kind of great awakening. And there's just so much power out there in the world that it could be the fact that they just can't kind of So I think it's in our hands as for your deities to ask them to kind of settle in, if you know what I mean. Like, I noticed that some people skip this thing of giving the offerings to the deities, or in my case, I don't have a deity. I don't feel like working with a deity unless one of them will just come in and be like, hey, what's up? I'm your deity now. Then yeah, I'll go with that. But for now, I'm just worshiping every element and the moon. That's my biggest ones. But it doesn't mean that you're not gonna give offerings to the spirits you work with. That's how black magic works, and that's how paganism works too. You ask for something, you have to pay for it. If you don't, you're basically what you're doing. If you don't like offer them anything back, it's just robbing them. It really should be illegal in our world, but I heard many people be like, I don't even want to follow the threefold rule. So like, yeah, but that's not correct. For any time you perform a spell that would include taking some part of your deity's energy to help you in, or working with any elements, you should pay them back. Especially if you do black magic and you work with some kind of devil, you have to give them something. Now, devils usually want blood, and that could be animal blood, hard to dig, hard to get, difficult. Some might even just want meat, and easier to do, but not really. So for the deities itself, they usually want alcohol, fruits, and bread. Not that hard, right? Some want money, but trust me, there are money always around your house. You can find some under your couch, and they don't want that much money. It's like usually a bunch of coins is good enough. Now, how I do my offerings, if you don't have the altar because you don't want to, well, pretty much admit to your parents that you're doing some kind of stuff like this because they're too religious and they might kick you out of your house, or try to perform exorcism or some kind of stuff like that, I totally get it. But what I do is I get a little cloth, usually anything that's like old clothes, but you can buy some if you're that fancy. Doesn't matter, as long as it's clean. And here's what you have to do. For special like deities, if you can find information on how to please them, But here's the thing. If there's no such information, then like I said, it's usually bread that has to be actually preferably baked by you, and you can find recipes online. It's that simple. You just make dough, put it in the oven, wait, and here you go. Wine. Now, yes, I get it. Some of you guys are like teenagers who cannot buy wine, or if you take someone from your like house cabinet, your mom will probably kill you. So let's skip the alcohol part. But you can even take, like I said, coins, some kind of sweet. It's good enough. Fruits. They usually like grapes, apples, and I don't remember. Oh, let's skip the alcohol part. But you can even take, like I said, coins, some kind of sweet. It's good enough. Fruits. They usually like grapes, apples, and I don't remember what was the other one, but you can find it all online. They like herbs too. Herbs are good enough too. Anything you can find as information will go. What I do is, you really don't need this big of a cloth or like something really huge. Like, this is pretty much how much you would need it. Something to just kind of put many things in and then just tie it up, whatever you want to staple it, whatever, as long as it's kind of secure and inside of it. You put all of that in there, and like breads, whatever, mini cubes, doesn't matter. You toss it all in there, and then you would tie it up to make it look like it's a mini little bag, you know, like a little cute gift. Very sweet. Now, if you would like wine, but you cannot put it in your altar, I would usually pour it in a chalice or a little bowl that I use, and I take the bag that it's already tied, little cute bag, dip it in there. And once you're done doing all of those little steps and procedures, if you're specifically doing it for some kind of deity, there will be specific like way to where to put it or something, how to like set it aside so they can, you know, take their share and stuff. Whatever it says, do it. But for me, I just go outside to my backyard and I dig a hole in the ground and I put the bag in there. Now, I don't have to bury it to like, 6 feet under. But I also don't want to like put it above, so it's like you just go, you slip, and then it goes. Nice little hole, whatever, and just you put it in there. You say any prayer, such as like, thank you for the work with me, I appreciate it a lot, take this from me. There could be specific words you have to say. Sometimes it just like wants you to say thank you, and then you just bury it, and then you leave. Those things, trust me, they can really save your life and even influence the spirits to work more with you, making you stronger, opening your third eye wider, and just making your tools work better. Such as if you do the cards, do the runes, they will appreciate it more and they will give you much more information. That will work just perfectly great. And it's always good to say thank you and honor those who've been giving you the help. Please don't skip this procedure. It's always very important.